Hello guys, my name is Khalid. Today I'll be showing you how to create a CI/CD pipeline in Jenkins. So let me first go to the project details. This is our Maven project which will be deployed to the Tomcat server. This is our code, which is the code is basically residing on the Git repository, which will be built, and the var/jar file will be generated as a result of that build, and then that build will be taken by the Jenkins server and will be deployed to the Tomcat server. These two, Jenkins server and Tomcat servers, are configured on two different EC instances. One is on EC1 and another is on EC2. The important thing to mention here is that the prerequisite of this project is that you must have watched and practiced my video on setup Jenkins on Amazon AWS EC2 and the setup Tomcat server on Amazon AWS EC2. Both the video links are placed in the description. So you can watch that videos, practice that, and as a third step, then you will arrive to this portion. So let me first start from this portion where I'll take the code from the Git repository. So first, let me go to the my Amazon dashboard. These are my two instances running, and let me go to the Jenkins master. So I'm taking the IP address. Then I'm opening the SSH software mobile extern. Let me delete the old sessions. Okay, so click on session, click on SSH, paste the IP, the username is Ubuntu. The SSH which I have downloaded, the private key is named as Jenkins1.pem. Okay. Okay, so now I have logged into my Jenkins server. So from the browser, I can also verify this by pasting my IP, and port is 8080, which I have configured in that video, which I have placed the link of configuring the Jenkins server on EC2 instance. So enter. Okay, so welcome to Jenkins. Here the username and password. This is my Jenkins dashboard. Welcome to Jenkins. Let me go back to the diagram. I'm currently at this location, so I'll be creating a new item, a new pipeline, to set a new pipeline, and to take my Git code from the Git repository and to build the my code inside the Jenkins server. So for that, I'll be creating a new item. Click on new item, then enter the project name. I am writing project dash Maven, and the second option is Maven project. Click on this one and then press OK. But before that, I want to make one thing clear, is that when you will be installing the Jenkins server for the first time, you will not see this option. So for this, you will have to configure a plugin, a Maven plugin, which is also an easy one. But after the configuration of that plugin, you will see this second option. Okay, so I click on this one. Okay. All right, so this is our configuration window. In the description, I highlight this is a Maven CICD project. Okay, so the next option is the source code management. Here I'll select the second option, Git, and here I will paste my Git repository URL. So for that, I'm going to my Git repo first. This since I am building the code from the Maven tool, so we must provide the pom.xml, this file, as an input. This file is available to build from the Maven tool. The index.jsp file, which is the main file which will be deployed, is inside the web app folder. If I go inside this, then click on main. This is our main index.jsp. If I click on this, this is the code which will be deployed on our Tomcat server and will be visible in our browser. So this is the test code I have written. So let me first take the URL of this Git repository by clicking on code and copying here and pasting it to my Git repo here. Paste. Okay. So next we will write here main branch. You can also use master branch, but I'm writing main here. Okay, so next build whenever snapshot dependency is built, that option is checked, that's fine. And then here you can see that pom.xml should be in the root directory, which it is also mentioning. In the goals and option, I will write command clean install package, which is a command on the runtime will be executed. Next is the post steps run regardless of build results, and the post build steps I'm not defining it at the moment, and this is just for the time being for our build to take place. So I'm saving it. Okay, so now our project has been saved. Here you can see that there is build now for this project to be built. So let me click on this one. So you can see below that this project has been in build stage now. It's in progress. Okay, so the blue ball means that it's in the success. The project has been executed successfully. If I click on this, I can view the result, and you can see here is that the repository cloning. This is my repo URL which has been cloned, and then if I go towards the end, I can show you the build execution files, which are, you can see that the web app snapshot.var and the server snapshot.jar. So these two var and jar files are executed as a result of this build. If I can go to the diagram, you can see that when this build occurs, the build resulted in the var and jar file. If I click on this one, so this is our result, which is these two files. So we have reached until this step. This step has been covered till now. Okay, so let me go back to my project. Okay, so let me do one thing by going to a diagram first. Now, our Jenkins, the build files have been uh, currently with the Jenkins server, so it will be deployed to the Tomcat server. So for that, we need two things. The first one is the deploy to container plugin, and the second thing, which is the Tomcat credentials. So for Tomcat credential, first let me log into the Tomcat server because I want to show you the username and roles which we assigned in this video, which I am referring is setup Tomcat server, which is necessary for you to watch. But I am just logging it to show you the Tomcat credential which we have defined at that time. So let me go. Let me take the IP address of Tomcat server. TCP port. Okay, so this is our Tomcat server main dashboard where we can see in the last video I've also teach you how to use these tabs, but currently I just want to log in to my CLI of this Tomcat just to show you that Tomcat users.xml file. So let me go to mobile extra. Let me clear the screen. Let me go inside this Tomcat folder, copy, paste. Inside the conf folder, I'll show you conf, then ls. Okay, so this is the file which we updated last time, tomcat-users.xml. Let's go inside it, dash users.xml, uh, nano. Okay, so if I go to the bottom, these are the username and roles which we assigned to this XML file last time. With this username Tomcat and password Tomcat, we are using the GUI of Tomcat, and this is the deployer username and password. This deployer username and password has the manager script role, and we will be using this deployer in our deployment. Uh, if I can show you, the second point is that we'll be setting up our Tomcat credentials. So in that credential, we will be entering this deployer name, which is basically deployer username, and deployer is the password, and which has got the role of the manager script. So let me exit from here, and let me go to our Jenkins. Okay, so our build was successful. Now, if I go to the diagram, I want to create or deploy these var files to our Tomcat server. So, beginning, let's do the first step, which is to deploy to container plugin. Basically, it's to install this plugin. So, I'm going to Jenkins. So, to install the plugin, I'll first go to Manage Jenkins. Then I'll click on Manage Plugins. Here I will search for the plugin name, which is Deploy to Container plugin. So I'll search in the Available tab and write Deploy to Container. So it's open, it's shown now. So I'll click on this one, and I will select the download now, and install without restart, this option. So it's now deployed to container pending, and loading plugin extensions pending. So it's done. Both is in success now. So the second step is the Tomcat credentials. So let me insert the details inside the Tomcat credential, but first we'll be creating that. Okay, so for Tomcat credentials, first I'll go to Manage Jenkins. Click on Manage Credentials here. Then I'll click on Jenkins. Then here is global credential unrestricted, and here I'll add the credential. So I've shown you that from our Tomcat server, our credential were, I can show it again. So these are the username is deployer, and the password is also deployer, and the role has got the manager script role. So let me write here, the username is deployer, password is deployer, ID is Tomcat credential, and we are pasting the same in the description, and then press OK. Okay, so let me go back to the credentials dashboard. Okay, so now we are present inside our project configuration mode. Here I'll go to the deployment step, and here is post build actions. So I'll click on here and I will select the option of deploy var and EAR to a container. Okay, so next it's the var and EAR files. I'm clicking on the question mark, and you can see we have got this extension to be selected inside this box. It means that to search for the var file inside our root folder. Next is I am configuring the containers. Add the container. Here I will select the Tomcat container 8 or 9. I can select anyone, but here I am selecting 8.x. This is the container on which our code or build will be deployed. Okay, so the credentials which we defined uh, earlier are here now. There's a deployer username and deployer password, the Tomcat credentials. So I'm clicking on this one. So we have set up our credentials here. And then the Tomcat URL. This is the URL of our EC2 instance on which currently the Tomcat server is running. So I'll copy the IP address of our Tomcat server, which is 3.15.181.117. So I'm copying it and I'm pasting it in our Tomcat URL. Paste, and the port is 8080 slash, and in the start I'll write HTTP. Okay, so now I will save it, and let's see our deployment, our code deployment by building this project now, because this project now contains both the build and the deployment, both of these steps. In the first step, which executed successfully, our build was resulted in the execution of these two files. So now we are deploying that our web application, in fact the index.jsp, deployed to our Tomcat server. So let me build this now, this code. Build now. So at the bottom you can see that the build job has started. Okay, so the build is successful and the deployment is also successful. If I click on this and if I go to the bottom, I can show you that attempting to deploy one war file, which was generated during the build, is now deployed at this location, Jenkins slash workspace slash web app dot var. So let's see our application, our main uh, index.jsp. So I'll first copy the Tomcat server address, which is copied, and I'll paste it here at 8080. Okay, and here I'll write slash web app. Okay, so you can see that the message is DevOps with Khalid, Maven project deployment on Tomcat server using Jenkins and CICD pipeline. So this is our Git repository from where the code has been taken by the Jenkins, then the code is built and then is deployed to the Tomcat server. Okay, so now I want to make this project process as a continuous integration and continuous delivery, which is our CI/CD. So, for example, some developer go and change our Git code over there, so it should automatically triggers and build, and that build should be deployed to our web server, which is the Tomcat server. So that is what we want. So for that, let me go back to the project. Here I am going to configure. At the configure, I will now define the build triggers, that whenever a build occurs, a trigger occurs, deploy it to the Tomcat server. So it will be done automatically without any manual intervention. So for that, let me go to the build triggers, and here the last option is poll SCM. So if I click on this, this is basically a schedule. You can define a schedule here. So I'm writing static/1, then static. So after every 1 minute, my Jenkins server will go on monitoring the Git repository, which is this repository. So if any modification are there from the previous to current, then Jenkins will going to build trigger automatically. Since I don't want to do it any manual intervention, so let's apply it and save it. Okay, so I'm saving it. Okay, so this is my Git repo. I will go inside the web app folder, then the main folder, and then the index.jsp file. If I click on it, so these are 3 lines written. I want to modify this JavaScript by edit this file, and I want to, let's say, remove this last line, the H3. For example, I just removed it. Okay. At the bottom, I will commit changes. So I write the comment of updated index.jsp and commit directly to the main branch which is selected, and I am commit changes. So when I press this commit change on my Git repo, so this repo will be picked and will be first monitored and then picked by the Jenkins, and then it will build it and then will deploy it to the Tomcat server. So let us see this. So if I click on commit, okay, so the code is now committed. Let me go to the Jenkins server here. So we have got 2 builds now. So let's see when the third build appears, because as per configuration we have defined that there will be a 1 minute total time that uh, it should be triggered within a minute. So let's see when it happens. Okay, so you can see that the third job has arrived pending in the quiet mode, quiet period. So it's now building. It's picked by the Jenkins automatically. Okay, so it's been successful having the blue ball. So if I go to my app, so here you can see that the third line has now been removed. It means that our code has been built and deployed to the Tomcat server. So which is perfect. So let me go again to my repo. One thing to mention here is that I am making a change to my Git repo in the GUI mode, which is not a very healthy exercise basically, because the coders always write their code in Visual Studio Code or some other code editor. So I would be rather making the code commits to my Git repo, which should be automatically built and deployed to the Tomcat server. So for that matter, I'm opening the Visual Studio Code and will update my code there in the VS Code and then deploy. And the deployment will be done by the Jenkins. So let me open the Visual Studio Code. Here, let me copy the Git URL. This is my Git URL. So here in my VS Code, I will click on clone repository. Here I will provide the repository address, enter, and it's asking me about the folder. So let me create a new folder. It is Maven dash project. So select repository location. So it's now cloning the Git repository to my local client. So I'm opening it. Okay, so here I will arrive to the web app folder and then to src. And here's my index.jsp file. So let me add h3 here. I'm again modifying the code mm, using Jenkins CICD C pipeline. Okay, so let me. Okay, so I have added this line using Jenkins CICD pipeline. So I have amended the code. So now I want to like first add, then commit, and then push this code to my Git repository. So for that, I'm opening the terminal inside the Visual Studio Code. Okay, so first I'll write the command git add. I want to first we want to see the status that okay. First we'll add it git add dot. Then we will see our git status on main branch. Your branch is up to date with origin master. Okay, I have not saved it. I guess if I save this file, save. Now I am again writing that command git status. So now you can see that there is one file modified, which is our index.jsp. So I want to commit it first. Git commit myself value is updated. Okay, so now it's inserted. One file change, one insertion. Okay, now it's done. And now let me push it by git push origin main. Okay, so now total 7 numbers, and these files are now pushed from VS Code to from the Git. So let me go to Jenkins. Here our fourth job should appear within a minute. Okay, let's wait. So here you can see that the fourth job has now appeared, and it's currently in the build stage. And if it's got successful, then it will be deployed to the Tomcat server. Okay, so it's successful. If I click on this and if I go to the bottom, I can see that build is successful and our deployment is also successful. So let me go to the app and refresh it. So here you can see that the third line appears using Jenkins CI/CD pipeline, which we did in our code, which we change in our code. So it means that every time you changes the code, you commit it and then you push it to your origin master, so it will be deployed automatically by the Tomcat server. All right, so this was all about this Maven Jenkins project, which we did uh, by the integration of Jenkins and Tomcat. And I hope you like this video, and this was an informative session. I hope that this was an informative project for you guys, and thank you very much for watching.